Pika flap. Boo. Peek and explore 12 chunky flaps. Perfect for baby Halloween fans. Happy Halloween! Look around this pumpkin patch to find someone. Look around this pumpkin patch to find someone hiding in a pumpkin. Pumpkin. Jack-o'-lantern. Happy, sad. I wonder what's under this flap. But first, before we see, there's a vampire there. Ooh, and a ghost coming out of a pumpkin. Ooh, it's a bat. Bats, the mammals, are the only mammals that can fly. A squirrel, a mouse, and a crow. 2 mice, 1 squirrel, a crow, 1 bat, and 1 ghost. Most of the pumpkins grow in the United States, are grown on farms in Illinois. Pick your favorite costume in the parade. Then look for a forest animal that can disguise itself. There's a cowboy, a pirate, an astronaut, and a superhero. I wonder what's under this flap. But first, before we look under these 2 flaps, there's a bat dog and ghosts. But bat dogs don't really exist. Where is the Old English word for man? The word werewolf means man-wolf. Owls are farsighted. They can see well from far away, but things look blurry up close. But I see a werewolf means, I see a werewolf. So technically, a man-wolf. And I see apples and a mouse peeking up and 2 ghosts. There's a big owl that's the size of that hole. That's a big owl. There's 2 apples, 1 green and 1 red. Time for a haunted hayride. Open the barn doors to meet some friends who live on the farm. But first, before we open these 2 flaps, there's corn, hay, a cat girl, and a witch. And there's apples, squash. There's paw prints, a pitchfork, a bushel basket, and now we open the barn doors. First, we'll open the right barn door. There's a cat, a rooster, and chicks. The rooster is a male chicken, and chicks are babies of the male and female. In Japanese, black cats are a sign of good luck, which in America are a sign of bad luck. Oh look, and there's a baby and a mom black cat. Isn't that cute? A cow, a scarecrow. Oh, and that poor little crow is scared. Poor thing. In countries all over the world, farmers use scarecrows to keep birds from eating their from eating crops. And I see the little mouse, but cats would probably attack it. Let's decorate pumpkins. It's fun to give them silly faces sometimes. You need help from someone older. Bunny ears, a kettle, a stove, crayons, a witch's hat, picture books, and a pie. But before we open these two flaps, that's the witch's hat, and there's a cat. How cute. But it's misbehaving and sitting on a shelf. There's a big old pumpkin. I see a little mouse right there. It chewed through the book. I see a little pumpkin on there. Someone must be reading about pumpkins. I see a cute little Frankenstein drawing a pumpkin. Now, let's open the top flap. People used to carve turnips instead of pumpkins. Because pumpkins and turnips, when they carve it, they're supposed to be warding off evil spirits. That's what happens in Scotland and Ireland. And right here it says, save some pumpkin seeds to toast and eat. And I see the monster right there, and the mouse is hiding in the pumpkin away from the cat. The cat is trying to get it though. Knock knock, trick or treat, open the doors to see who is hiding out candy at this, who's handing out candy at this house. But before we open it, there's a fairy, 1, 2, 3, 4 tombstones. But like I said, there's a fairy and a mummy and a dragon dog, which is not real. I promise you guys, it's not. Trust me. And I see that little Frankenstein and a vampire and the cowboy and the ghost. And those people are talented, whoever carved those. And I see the black cat. And this flap says Happy Halloween. But first we're going to open up the right flap. But before we do that, look, there's 3 cute witches and 2 people looking out. Halloween used to be called All Hallows Eve. And there's candy. But in Scotland and Ireland, it used to be called Samhain. Right here is a fox. And over here is a Viking. And there's a spider. Spiders can make a web that has sticky glue in some parts, but not in others. Spiders, as you can see, that's their head and that's their body. And they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 legs. But from right here, they have something on their vent area that shoots out a web. Spiders are very talented. And I have spiders that live in my backyard with our blackberries. Right here is a violin, a guitar, drums, a piano, and that's a vampire playing the piano, and a Frankenstein doing the drums, and a cowboy doing the violin, and a ghost playing the guitar. There's a pumpkin, there's a bowl of treats, there's a ghost. It says, there's lots of yummy things to eat at this Halloween party. Try to find some tricks among the treats. But before we open the left and the right flaps, the left and the right ones, I want to show you what's on the outside. There's popcorn, there's gummy worms, and there's caramel apples, corn, and did you know that corn can easily be taken off the cob and dried in the oven and popped into the microwave with a little butter, and it makes your popcorn that you eat? And right here, you have candy corns, a worm, and an apple, and those two kids are freaking out. And then back here it says, when candy corn was first made, it was called chicken feed because corn is actually fed to our chickens. And we have ducks and a turkey. And trust me, it is so much fun to have them. And we're in the process of building them a new, bigger coop. We have a turkey named Dave. And I love Dave. My dad got Dave. But we bob for apples because they're a fall fruit. They float. And they're yummy to bite. There's candy apples, candy corn, which has popcorn in it, and a candle. Happy Halloween, everybody. This is your fall time book. The end.